He said, "This is off subject, but I would truly appreciate an answer. I will give you one." You said on another broadcast that Jayden de Laura left Washington State because he was informed by the coaches they were bringing in Ward to replace him. I always wondered about that. Is that understood to be true by Pac-12 insiders? So I did some digging on what exactly transpired there. And Cam Ward announced that he had received an offer from Washington State and that then interim staff at the time with Jake Dickert about an hour or two after their loss in the bowl game a season ago, where de Laura played in the first half and then kind of got injured, lower body injury, didn't play in the second half. Now, what I have found out is, and I haven't spoken to anyone per se, but this is what I've come to understand, and it makes a lot of sense. Jayden de Laura was very supportive of his initial head coach, Nick Rolovich, after he was fired by Washington State through all the vaccine controversy. And so it never sat right with him what Washington State had done. And then Jake Dickert coming in wanted to bring a new offensive coordinator into the fold because their other one had also left with Rolovich when he was fired by Washington State. And so de Laura had felt a sort of kinship to that coaching staff. And so the new one that was being formed with Jake Dickert at the helm was looking to bring in somebody else. And they went out and they hired Eric Morris, who was putting up a bunch of stats at Incarnate Word as the head coach. And Cam Ward was his quarterback. And Morris wanted to bring Ward, and the Washington State coaching staff made the decision that they thought there was a higher ceiling there with Cam Ward than with de Laura, who then was not totally all in on the idea of bringing in a new coaching staff, one that didn't recruit him to Washington State. And so then he ended up entering the transfer portal. And because that all kind of took place mid-season, right, where Dickert took over as the interim head coach, that's why everything happened so quickly by the time the season ended. It was building to that point, right? When Rolovich left, de Laura was sitting there going, well, that's the guy who I wanted to play for. They'd built a chemistry because de Laura's from Hawaii and Rolovich came from there. They'd built a rapport prior to him coming over to Washington State, and then that's who he wanted to play for. And then when that was no longer an option, and then he heard about the quarterback that was coming in Cam Ward, he decided to enter the transfer portal, and Arizona is the beneficiary there. So I hope that answers your question. And to just comment on that real quick, none of that surprises me. What you see in the transfer portal a lot, guys who leave are often in the portal, not always, for one of two reasons. Number one, they're not playing as much as they want to. And number two, the coach or staff who they committed to play for are no longer with that university. They may try and follow that staff if they'll take them, or they may just look for a different option. Great example, Travis Dye going from Oregon to USC. Travis Dye played for 4 years at Oregon. He was really good, but he committed to play for Mario Cristobal on that staff, and when they left, he decided to go venture out and see what his other options were, and he's found a new home at USC, and he's thriving in that role, which doesn't surprise me one bit as someone who watched him a lot in his career with the Ducks. So those tend to be the motivating factors. And I think for de Laura, it clearly wasn't a playing time issue, but it was about to become one because they were bringing in Morris, who said, I want to bring my guy Cam Ward, who's my quarterback. That's the guy who I've been coaching for the last couple of years. We've got this great chemistry. The irony of all of this is Jayden de Laura and Arizona have a better offense this year than Washington State. The Cougars have not had as good of an offense as they should have, frankly. We saw it from the start of the year against Idaho, right? They went on the road, played Wisconsin, only scored 17 points. But as Pac 12 play has gone on, the Cougars' defense is allowing less than 21 points a game. It's one of the best in the Pac 12. Their offense is not managing 25 points a game on average to this point. It has not been good enough. So it was a little bit of a gamble to move on from de Laura, but in the eyes of Dickert and the new OC, Eric Morris, it was the right thing to do. And that's what they wanted to do. And de Laura said, you know what? If you're going to go in that direction, you're not the staff I committed to play for, and I'm going to go explore my options. And he's now part of an Arizona rebuild that is well underway. Appreciate everyone listening. See you next time and have a wonderful rest of your day.